Hey, we're live, everybody. How we doing? Another live stream coming at you. Another beautiful day in Hexaco. We'll wait for some people to trickle in through the chat here. And yeah, just figured I'd give you guys a little bit of updates about what's been going on in the ecosystem. Hold on a minute. Let me just see if we're live. We are live. We are live indeed. So, hope you're enjoying the pumps, more or less. I mean, not the greatest pumps in the world, but there's a lot of updates that are going on in the PulseChain ecosystem, a lot of updates in crypto in general. And, some people think we're gearing up for a bull market. Some people are still bearish. You got Data Dash is still bearish. A lot of people out there are not ready to call bull market full on yet, meaning they're either in the hope phase or the disbelief phase. This has to do with, the Wall Street cheat sheet, the hype cycles of everything. I'm a perma-bull, I'm a perma-bull forever, permanent optimist, and I'm with a long-term vision as well. So, even in the bear market when things really suck, I'm thinking about 5-10 years down the line, and I can't not imagine a world where crypto is not around in 5 years. I cannot imagine a world where crypto is not better, stronger, more pervasive throughout the entire economy, throughout the entire society. People are going to get it. It's just a matter of if, not a matter of when. Or rather, a matter of when, not if. Got that switched around. Hey, let's say what's up to the chat. Runeskis, Red Squirrel, what's going on? Mango Junkie, oi oi. Finn Bear says 5 out of 5. I got all my mods in the chat. Drix, what's up? PulseChain Future Millionaire. I was here first, lol. Looks like you were here third, bro, but I believe you. I believe you, PulseChain Future Millionaire. And I hope you do become a future PulseChain millionaire too. I hope you all get wildly rich beyond your wildest expectations. But I also hope that you get free in the process as well, because that is what crypto offers, the separation of money and state. The freedom that crypto offers is just as good as the mad gains, honestly. And the gains that come along with it just are due to the fact that the government is printing money like it's nobody's business, like it's going out of style. And they won't turn the money printing machines off because they've got wars to fund. And we've got a separation over here happening, a global grassroots organic movement. Kind of a peaceful revolution, I hope. I hope we don't have to go protesting in the streets, but I would if I had to, because this is a cause worth protesting for. There's some changes in the government. We've got Vivek Ramaswamy preaching pro-crypto. I mean, look, I don't trust politicians, okay? I don't trust what they say, and I know, they talk a big game before they get into office, and when they get in, we're lucky if they do even half of what they say they're going to do. But it seems like Vivek, Mr. Ramaswamy, USA citizen, of course, seems like he's pro-crypto and he's pro-freedom. He's got a three-pronged approach to how he's going to handle, he says, how he's going to handle the crypto markets. One of them is let developers develop, let coders code. Another one is let people hold their own private keys. Don't try to micromanage everybody's MetaMasks, everybody's Rabby wallet. And, when things live on the blockchain, don't touch them. And I agree with that. So if the IRS out there, if you're listening, just tax people at the off-ramps, bro. You don't need to micromanage what people are doing in these crazy liquidity farms, yield farms. If you want to tax the people, just tax them at the off-ramps, bro. I mean, look, I know taxation is theft, but, people can have their cake and eat it too. You can have a relatively free population, and then you could still have some method of collecting taxes or, at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? All that matters is that the IRS gets their money. I should probably stop saying that 3-letter word, though. Don't want a bunch of eyeballs on me from the wrong people. Thomas Anderson says, I hate my life. Jesus. Thomas Anderson, I hope you get better, man. Life is a beautiful thing. There's a lot to be happy for. So I know it might seem tough right now, but, we're all here together. 5,555 days. Things are going to get better, man. They only suck for a temporary amount of time. Let's see. Thomas says, I hate my life too, but just tolerate it until 25. Look, man, there's things you could do to make your life suck less, even if you're financially struggling. I mean, I've been in that situation before, and I didn't let depression overcome me, luckily. But, I don't know what everyone's going through. Really, guys, here's a handy tip that it comes down to. The best I can do for your mental health, guys, is something that's so insanely simple that nobody wants to hear it, but without taking pills, without getting a doctor to prescribe you God knows what. Eat right, sleep right, and exercise. So sleeping, eating, and exercise in that particular order is the most important thing you can do for your body and for your mind, for your mental health too. Sleep 8 hours a day, maybe 7. Maybe you're one of those lucky guys that only needs 6 hours, but most people need 7 to 8. Maybe you do 7 hours. Peaceful sleeping every day. No screen time before bed. Put your phone 2 or 3 feet away from you at the minimum. no blue light. And, you know, I listen to podcasts before I fall asleep, but, you know, I try not to be scrolling through Twitter like right before bed. You know what I mean? You wake up, you go to the gym, you eat a healthy diet. Don't eat all that poison at the grocery store. The grocery store is funny because it's like a game that we play where it's like they hide the couple things that aren't poison, and it's up to you to go find the not poison at the grocery store. Like we've hid some things in here, maybe eggs, maybe a little organic ground beef, maybe some, what else is okay? Some fruit, perhaps, if they didn't spray pesticides on it. And that's all mixed in with, you know, the high fructose corn syrup and all the GMOs and all the, you know, mutated, bastardized crops from factory farming. So it's tricky out there, right? It's tricky out there. You know, but take supplements too. And then finally, just get a little tiny bit of exercise. Little tiny bit, 15 minutes a day. Go out for a little jog. Lift some weights in your basement or whatever. You don't even need a gym membership. Get a couple of dumbbells. Just start pumping some weights. We're going to survive here. We're all going to make it, guys. We're all going to make it. Survive till 25. Survive till 25. Crypto Artie, good to see you. Wild SJ, always a pleasure. How's the road, SJ? Your bear is on the way. Don't you worry. We're all going to make it. Let's see. Finbear says, eat meat, be healthy. Yes, eat meat. I've been eating steak almost every day. Eggs are relatively good quality food. You know, they do have factory farm chickens, but I think it's kind of like bananas, right? Like they can do a lot to the GMOs. They can mess with the plants and stuff. They can mess with the chicken, but the egg is kind of protected. So even if you do get a bastardized, totally messed up chicken, the egg is still somewhat healthy. I mean, it's good to get the brown eggs, not the white ones. Get them from a pasture-raised farm. Pasture-raised is not the same thing as free range, by the way. You think free range is like, oh, the chickens are walking around outside. All they have to do is get like the tiniest little bit of outdoor space, and then you could slap the free range label on there. So pasture raised, they cost twice as much, but if you can afford them, get the pasture raised eggs if you can. RG3 says, I'm a horrible sleeper. It's hard to sleep when you're on a pirate ship all day, boy. It's like when the boat is rocking, I can't imagine it's very easy to get any sleep. Kaiser says, what's up? Wild SJ, Vets in Crypto. Yep, everybody's saying hi to everybody in the chat. Kaiser, thank you for all you do. Indeed, thank you for all you do. Pump D iron for sure. Yeah, get some sunlight in the morning too. It's these simple little things, man. These simple little things. A lot of people, first thing they do when they get up is they start doom scrolling. They're ready to go to war on Twitter with some guy they've never met because they gotta argue for their opinions. And that's all fun and games, but you know, maybe not the first thing you do when we wake up. So are we going to pump, guys? Are we going to get a pump? It really does seem like things are gearing up. It really, really does. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a fortune teller. But it does seem like things are gearing up. Now, we're going to go over the PulseChain and HEX statistics in a minute. But we're going to talk about the general macro. Look, the government's going to print more money again. Okay, there could be another black swan event. And, you know, I was watching your friend Sami the other day. He has a really good point. The CBDC is pretty much done. You know, Fed now is going to be the CBDC, according to Miguel. I learned from other people, right? So Miguel's telling us that, you know, the Fed now is kind of the intro to the CBDC, kind of the test bed. But that's only going to be used for interbank transfers from the Fed to other banks as of right now, right? But the World Economic Forum, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, seems like they've got plans for a CBDC that they're not going to be able to push on the people. Not the American people, anyway. We don't give up without a fight so easily, us Americans. Maybe you could push that stuff off on, you know, the some other countries. I'm not gonna get myself in trouble. Maybe some other countries will roll over a little easier with their citizens. Probably not the French. Though. I will say that. But yeah, you know, we're not gonna go down without a fight, or we're not gonna go down without a manufactured crisis, a manufactured consent, basically, is what they call it. And they're going to try to psyop all you guys into, you know, buying into the CBDC with some kind of a crisis. Now, this time it might not be a forced medical procedure. You know, this time it might be something different. It might be geopolitical. We haven't seen one of those things in a while. So, I mean, look, I hope that everybody comes out unscathed. But just be warned that when they try to force the CBDC down your throat, you can choose a better option. You can choose real DeFi. You can choose HEX, PulseChain, PulseX. Hell, even Bitcoin and Ethereum, if you do it the right way, if you're holding your keys in your wallet, not your keys, not your coins, and they can't stop you from knowing 12 words in your head and they can't stop you from funneling your dirty government fiat money that they print into oblivion, funneling that into a better superior asset. That superior asset is crypto. It's HEX. It's Bitcoin. It's fixed, coded, programmed supply side. The supply side isn't manipulated by a bunch of old dudes that you never elected that are in there for life. Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell. Look, I mean, they're doing the best they can. They work for the lizard people, so they don't really have much of a choice, do they? Their jobs depend on it. But these people are playing an impossible game, trying to guess the inflation rate, it's like trying to drive a car in reverse down the highway. It's very, very hard to do. It's very, very hard to do. So it's a job that no one man should have all that power, you know what I mean? So it's a job without an answer. The answer is make a new parallel financial ecosystem and start over and separate money and state. And that's what we're doing today. That's what we're doing today. And the world will catch on sooner or later, because when you're printing money and you're inflating and devaluing and stealing, because that's what inflation is. It's a hidden tax, really. It's hidden tax, and it's stealing people's purchasing power from them that are working harder than ever before. The 401ks aren't looking so hot anymore. It's not looking like maybe that was the best option for the last 30, 40 years. And it sucks for people to have their hard-earned money debased, devalued. But you think it's bad in the USA or maybe Australia? It's 10 times worse in every other country. 10 times worse most other countries, many other countries. It literally is 10 times worse in places like Argentina and stuff like that. So what am I saying? All this magic made-up internet money has to flow somewhere. It's overflowing. And stocks, the stock Ponzi is about as high as it's going to go. Richard Hart called the stock Ponzi top a couple weeks ago, maybe last week. And look, I don't know how much more people are going to buy into the stock market. If you hear Jim Cramer saying that stocks are a good buy, maybe stay away from that. And after that bubble pops, where is this excess money going to flow into? Real estate, it's looking kind of top heavy, looking kind of really heavy to move. No single millennial that I know can afford to buy a house with an average wage. That's the way things are. With an average good salary, even with the 6-figure salary, $100K a year, you got to save up for 20 years maybe to be able to afford a down payment on, $500,000 house. Because, let's say you're making $100K. Well, guess what? You really only make 3/4 of that, because you're paying 25, maybe 28% to federal tax, right? I think that tax bracket's 28%. So you make $72K. What is that per month? $5,000 a month. So you pay maybe half of that in rent, because rent is going through the roof. So you're paying $2,500 in rent. So let's say you got $3,000 a month spending. You got your gym membership, you got your food, which is also going through the roof. So your grocery bill is what, $500? Your gas in your car is maybe another $200. If you have any loan payments to repay, maybe you're left with $1,000 a month left. Now, look, you still can save money and make money. I'm not saying it's impossible. I did it. I wage slaved for many, many years, 9 years. I always had an opt-out plan, a plan B, a plan C, a plan H. H stands for HEX. Okay, so I had a plan to get out, escape the rat race, escape the 9-to-5 grind, the rat race that we're all told is normal. It's not normal. It's soul-sucking. For a lot of people anyway. I mean, look, maybe you have a job where you're actually doing stuff. You're actually making an impact. A lot of jobs are these bullshit jobs nowadays where people are pretending to work, and that's driving them more insane than actually working and contributing to a cause. Because people work for their entire life. And when you're doing something where you can see the result, maybe you're in, I don't know, some level of, maybe it's a blue collar job, or maybe it's a smaller white collar company where you work for a startup and you see the fruits of your labor are actually visible. But, having worked in these larger white collar companies before, there's a lot of kind of people out there that are kind of the invisible underclass of, they're just on the payroll and they got to look busy and they got to be as normal as possible. They can't tell anybody about their side gigs or side hustles, what they're really interested in. They're forced to boil their conversations down to, hey, what did you watch on Netflix the other day? I mean, it's really soul-sucking, right? So everyone tries to talk about the same old things, sports, TV. You can't talk about politics anymore because you might get fired because your boss might be liberal, but maybe you've got some other, maybe you like Vivek, right? People are getting fired. People are losing their jobs over political opinions at work. It's a crazy time that we live in, crazy time. And so that hindering of people's soul and saying what they really want to say and how they feel and feel how they feel, it's not really the best place to have a sane, a lot of mental stability at work, right? And then you got to look busy on top of that, and you got to kind of convince, because it's BS, and sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes your boss knows it's BS too, and you guys are both kind of looking at each other, and you're playing this game of, hey, I won't say anything if you don't say anything, bro. That's what I was kind of at that point. I got along with everybody. I'm agreeable. I'm easy to get along with, and that helps. That helps at some of these white collar type of jobs. You might be at one. I don't know. You watching, you might be in a similar situation. IT is classic for hey, we're gonna turn your computer on and turn it back off again. But I'll be there in 4 more hours, and then I'll close this ticket off at the end of the day, and we'll send that ticket in. I get my points for the day. I did 15 minutes of effort, but I spent the other 3 hours browsing Twitter. A lot of people, this is their work day. This is their work day today. And there's a better way. There's a better way. So where was I saying? I went off on a rant. Someone's at Black Eagle's at work right now. Lol. Yeah, man, not all jobs are BS, but it's becoming a kind of a problem where it's maybe like 25, 30%. Some people would estimate even higher. Now, some people are actually doing stuff. The people that are making the things, if you're in like construction, or if you're making the buildings, or if you're like an air conditioner guy, like people are always going to need that, and you're making stuff. But then it's also, that's physically hard, right? I mean, you've got maybe 20 good years of that. And I think everyone in construction, I think we should pay them enough that they could retire before they literally destroy their bodies, because there's a lot of people that get older that, when you're 50, 60 and you got to move these freaking huge objects around all day and be in uncomfortable positions for long periods of time, especially in the heat or in the freezing cold. Like, I don't know. If I was president, just kidding, guys, just kidding. There's not a lot of easy solutions to a lot of these things, but one thing we could do is, if you fix the money, you really do fix the world. Bring the power back to the people, give them some economic choice, give them some breathing room. Buy crypto. Maybe that's the only last bastion of hope that outpaces the inflating, decrepit, decaying Ponzi system that we have. Even the stock market, you're waiting 10 years to get a 3x in the S&P 500. You can get a 3x in 1 month in crypto. It's possible. You could also lose half. You could also lose 50% in a month. But hey, if you're a long-term holder in crypto, the risks, to me, massively the reward massively outweighs the risk to me. Okay, to me, it's too risky not to be involved in the greatest wealth transfer in human history. To me, it's too risky to sit on the sidelines and just watch everybody go about their day. So you owe it to yourself, honestly, to be involved right now. Whether you like Bitcoin, you play it safe with Bitcoin, or you want some of this risky, higher reward, higher risk stuff, PulseChain, HEX, PulseX, a lot higher potential because they're newer. They're like the second iterations, right? HEX is the next iteration of Bitcoin. PulseChain is another iteration of Ethereum. PulseX is another iteration of Uniswap. We're not reinventing the wheel with this stuff. We took what already worked and we made it better. And that's a lot of the ethos of PulseChain. And projects built on top of PulseChain, a lot of those follow the same thing. Fame is a clone of GMX with a little bit of improvement. Fox is a clone of Balancer with a little bit of improvement. We've got NFT platforms like Mintra that's kind of a clone of LooksRare. And, we've got some totally original ideas as well. We've got some actual original ideas. One of them I saw the other day. Now everyone's going to get triggered. And this is not an endorsement of saying go buy this token. Okay, I'm not saying go buy this token, but I'm going to tell you guys one thing I have my eye on. And before I even tell you what it is, it's triple audited. It took a long time to build. They've been working on this for years, definitely months, because it's been on the test net for many months. And they've been working on this protocol where it's basically adding yield, and you're basically able to mint CDs, mint time-locked coins. So you can mint time-locked coins for staking, HEX, PulseX, PLS, even INC token, and even T-shares, HEX T-shares. So if you have HEX T-shares, you can also mint some of these CDs that will basically pay you in this other coin. So they're adding yield on top of PulseChain, PulseX. They're even adding yield on top of T-shares, on top of the HEX, as if the HEX wasn't good enough already, and on top of the INC. Now, I don't want to talk about this too much because it is brand new, and I'm not buying the coin, just so you guys know. I'm not buying this coin, but I'm going to keep an eye on it because it's also a very interesting experiment in governance as well. So I recommend everyone just reads this white paper, give it a chance. I know a lot of people are going to be triggered. Oh, new coin. No, you can't talk about a new coin. Guys, this is one of those things that I actually believe could potentially make HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX more interesting and add value and just spur up interest in long-term holding. Again, it could shift people's mindset back a little bit more long-term. Because, you're going to go to this website, and it's called pulsedao.pro, and you're going to go to the website, and you're going to be like, this looks suspicious. It doesn't look like, because it doesn't look like, a super professional, like the website UI, you're going to see what I mean. You're going to see what I mean, because you go to the website, and it kind of looks like maybe one of those things that you've seen a lot before. And, it does. It does look like one of those things. It's an experiment, okay? So, again, it might not work, but it's not a guarantee that it'll even be safe. But if you read the white paper, I read the white paper the other day, and my first thought was this doesn't totally suck. I mean, the tokenomics kind of makes sense, and the governance is an interesting experiment. PulseDao.pro, maybe check it out. Not a buy recommendation. Not ever, because we don't give financial advice. Of course. What else is new in the PulseChain ecosystem, guys? We have got GainPulseChain.com, the Coast team. They're about to release a massive update. It got me real excited this morning when I woke up and I saw on the FUX liquidity pairs, they just bonded CST token with PulseChain token. They just bonded CST token with PulseChain token. Now, what does that mean? First of all, it's 60-40, 60% PLS, 40% CST. What does that mean? Seems to me that a lot of people are gearing up to be incredibly bullish on the price of PulseChain itself, because the ones with the higher weights are the coins that you're more bullish on in those particular pairs. So it's 60-40 Pulse to CST. And why are they tying these liquidity pools together? Why are they tying these two tokens together on FUX? It's because CST is about to launch a stablecoin on-ramp with PulseChain, PulseX, and HEX as well. So you can now buy HEX, PulseChain, PulseX, and mint a stablecoin all outside of the flow of funds, semi-trustlessly. I mean, yes, you do have to KYC yourself. You do have to link a bank account. But you can have essentially a crypto bank account that mints a stablecoin directly into your crypto wallet. They never touch your private key. They stay outside of your funds. And you can ACH transfer it in. You can wire transfer your money in. It is the ultimate fiat on-ramp for PulseChain. And it's called GainPulseChain.com. You also get 5,000 free tokens. If you use that link, you get 5,000 free weight tokens, which will lower your fees after you make your first transaction. So go in there, use my invite link. You have to do one tiny transaction first in order to get those tokens. So you do your tiny test transaction, you mint your coins, and maybe a week later, they'll send you the weight tokens. And if you stake the weight tokens, it'll take your fees down from 4% to 2%. Essentially, what GainPulseChain.com allows you to do is mint stablecoins native on PulseChain. No bridging, linking your bank account. This is kind of like a new Coinbase, except it's streamlined specifically for PulseChain. It's a new centralized exchange, kind of, but it's very, very PulseChain centric, very focused. It's not totally like it, but it's kind of like TUSD, where they use kind of a trust in the background and they have a banking partner. Look, you can ACH your funds in, you can wire transfer them. These are for high net worth individuals too. There is no limit on wire transfers. If you want to wire in $1 million, you could do it through GainPulseChain.com. This is going to bring the big money on board. Okay, people don't know about this yet. So make your account, get acquainted with it. Obviously, it requires trust. Like every new platform, every new centralized exchange requires trust. But we need fiat on-ramps. We need ways to get your dirty government money into PulseChain. It's a necessary evil. So before I hear people complaining about, there's KYC AML. Well, how are you getting your money into crypto today, bro? Using Coinbase, you got a KYC AML. Using Kraken, you got a KYC AML. Using Coast, you got a KYC AML. But the Coast team has been pro-crypto, pro-PulseChain specifically since day one. So there's no bridging. There's no expensive Ethereum gas fees. And now, with their update that they're going to launch in a couple of days, get ready for it, you can buy PulseChain directly, which solves the gas problem as well. So before, when you minted the stablecoins, you couldn't necessarily buy any Pulse right away unless you had gas money. Now you're going to be able to buy PLS to pay for gas. And entry point into the ecosystem, buy whatever else you want from Petition. They've got a link into petition.io within the website. Petition.io is a DEX aggregator. So whatever stablecoins you do mint, as long as you've got a little money in your wallet for gas, it's going to route you through the best possible routing options. You're going to get the most bang for your buck and the best deal on coins using Petition.io. And you got a window through that. within the Coast website, within gainpulsechain.com. So it's your one-stop shop for onboarding a ton of money, big money too, big money, not just $1,000, $500 here and there. It's anybody that wants to come in. You can even link your Revolut account. You can link your, what is it? It's called Wire. I don't know. There's some service that I've never used. I think people use it in Europe a lot. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, you got that coming out. You got Tetra. Tomorrow, Tetra is going to be launching 5-to-1 limit orders, decentralized limit orders, aggregated through every DEX. That means FUX, 9-inch, and of course, the premier DEX on PulseChain, which is called PulseX. And you're going to be able to access all of these DEXs and do 5-to-1 trading, which is something I've never seen before. 5-to-1 trading means that I could take, let's say I've got some PLS, some PulseX, some HEX, and some INC. And I want to trade all that for DAI stablecoin. Well, I can now swap, 50 HEX and 100 Pulse and 300 PulseX all at the same time. And I could set a limit order on it. I could have an automation saying, well, when these coins get to this price, then swap them all for this much, DAI or whatever they're worth. Very cool feature. Keep an eye on Tetra as well. I talk about things that add value to the ecosystem. Okay, Tetra is one of those things. Now, yes, they have a token. This is where you guys got to see the nuance, right? Everything comes with smart contract risk. I typically will only talk about audited code. So it's audited, but it's not a guarantee of safety. Also, just because you have a coin doesn't mean I'm talking about buying the coin. Okay, so just because Tetra has a coin doesn't mean I'm endorsing, hey, everybody go buy a whole bunch of Tetra token. Now look, the token might do well. The token might do well because it's kind of a revenue split model where, if you're a Tetra holder, you get a little bit of the transaction fees of people routing through Tetra. Now it hasn't launched yet, but that's what the token does. But look, I'm not buying the token personally right now. I don't own any of the token. But is it a cool platform? Yeah, it's going to be an awesome platform. So before we all get triggered about maximalism and all this stuff, let's try to see the nuance in things and realize that you do need some other puzzle pieces, okay, to make the user experience better, to add more functionality. And that's the kind of stuff I like to talk about. Stuff that when it exists, you can do stuff, you can do new stuff that you couldn't do before. And it's helpful. It's not, it's not like it helps you day trade faster. It's like, no, this is like automations for yield farming, automations for all the buttons that you would otherwise have to click. So Tetra is going to allow you to be a lot more passive, right? Look, we talk about passive income. Let's be honest. How often are we checking our balances every single day? It's as active or as passive as you want it to be. But statistically, really, and this goes for mutual funds especially, they've actually done studies on this. The more passive you are with your money, with your approach to money, the more you will gain in the long term. The more active an approach you try to take, you're not going to beat the market. They took a sample size of a whole bunch of mutual fund investors, and they found that 95% of all mutual funds lost money compared to just holding in a passive strategy. So for those that took an active approach, not only did they lose money compared to the benchmark S&P 500, but then you paid them for the privilege to lose your money for you. You paid the mutual fund investor 1% on top of whatever you already lost for the privilege of losing the money. So how's that for traditional systems? So just be warned that goes for crypto as well. The more you touch your profile, the more you touch your portfolio, the more opportunities you have to basically you're playing Russian roulette with yourself. Okay. Try not to touch your profile except for, harvesting yield, maybe reallocating a little bit here and there. But man, if you guys are doing too much, that's how people lose. And it's nuanced, okay? It's not like sit there forever. Like when your stake in HEX comes due, you got to go to your computer. You got to unstake that HEX. You got to get off your butt and click a button, okay? But it's not like anything crazy, You don't need the token to use Tetra. That is true, Red Squirrel. You don't need to buy the token to use Tetra. But if you like it, go ahead. Do whatever you want with your money. Do I mean WireX? I do not mean WireX. Hold on. You know what? I'm going to go look it up live, all right? 0x Coast. Let's go to the website so I can show you guys how to actually, what buying options they have. Oh dang, I gotta log in again. Let me see right here. Yeah, so on 0x Coast, again, guys, gainpulsechain.com is my referral link. Huge updates coming your way for this one. Huge updates. You really don't want to ignore this. And yes, it is risky. Okay, every new thing is risky. So you don't have to use it, but it's a fiat on-ramp. This is how money comes into the ecosystem. This is how your bags get pumped. All right? No, it's called WISE, man. WISE. WISE. WISE, Revolut, wire transfer, ACH, or you can even deposit stablecoins from Ethereum. You could even deposit USDC or DAI or USDT and have that minted into CST directly. So in other news, we've got the, what is it called? Teller? God dang it. The Oracle, guys. Fetch. The Fetch Oracle on PulseChain is something that's pretty close to being done, and that's going to unlock liquid loans. That's going to unlock, I forgot what else it's going to unlock. I think it's going to unlock more of Tetra as well. And so when this Fetch Oracle comes due, it's going to unlock a lot of really cool protocols. You know, you're going to have the PulseX stablecoin, the PLS Algo stablecoin, so liquid loans, and then Power City's got another one. Crazy developments happening in the PulseChain ecosystem. And so, yeah, an Oracle, for people that don't know, is a price feed, basically. It tells you the truth, the price. You know, that's what an Oracle does. It tells you, it's the like ultimate truth teller. Now, it's really important to do this the right way so that, you know, the Oracle doesn't lie and print the wrong price and then send all the apps that use it, and send them all cascading downwards and, you know, a bunch of vault liquidations and stuff like that. So once Teller goes out and it's correct and it's done the right way, Fetch, and I'm calling it Teller because it's a fork of Teller. It's called Fetch, and Teller's an Oracle that's been running great on Ethereum for a long time. Fetch is a clone of Teller, and they even caught some bugs in Teller that Teller themselves didn't even catch. So more eyeballs on the code, usually a good thing. You want code that's had the most possible eyeballs on it. That's why I like forked code. That's why I like stuff that's not reinventing the wheel. That's why I like ideas like Fetch, right? Because it's, when something's really hard to do, why not take someone that's already done it and just improve on their idea? That's what Fetch is to Teller. Just like that's what PulseX is to Uniswap. That's what PulseChain is to Ethereum. That's what HEX is to Bitcoin. Hit the like. Hey, D'Artagnan's in the chat. What's going on, everybody? Lick Coffee's like thingy. Yeah, lick my like button. Lick my like button, baby girls. Penn and Teller. I saw Penn and Teller last time I was in Vegas for the PulseChain tour. PulseChain conference, actually. Very entertaining. Penn and Teller. So show us the chart then. Okay. All right. I'll show you guys the chart. What you guys really want to see here. What you really want to see over here is we got some price updates on PulseChain is sitting at 685. PulseX sitting at 287. INC still defending above 90 cents, 94 cents right now. Hovering around $1 for a long time. HEX is at 1.31 cents on PHEX, and we've got 0.007 on EHEX. So combined HEX price of 2 pennies. Pretty good. Combined HEX price of 2 pennies. And if you're staked in HEX long term, you're earning, you know, anywhere between 30 and 50% APY. Seriously, those longer term stakes, they really increase your APY. Larger than 40% sometimes. Larger. Gas fees are currently 8,367x cheaper on PulseChain than Bitcoin. Today, Bitcoin costs $7.31 to send a Bitcoin from one person to another. That doesn't sound like peer-to-peer digital cash to me. I don't know about you. But if I got to pay you $7 to send a coin to you, I don't think that sounds very good. Now, is Ethereum any better? Maybe. A little better. But guess what? PulseChain is 2,353x cheaper to send than Ethereum. So it's going to cost me $2 to send an Ethereum from one person to another. $29 to do a swap. $29 to do a swap. So if I want to change one coin to another coin on the Ethereum network, on the Ethereum blockchain, I got to pay $30. How much does it cost on PulseChain, you might ask? 1 penny, 1 whole penny today. And it costs 1/10 of a penny just to send a coin from one person to another. It costs 1 whole penny to swap any coin for any coin on the PulseChain network. That's why people love it. One of many reasons. It's also free speech, real DeFi, really decentralized. You know, you're not, no fake admin keys or fake projects. I mean, of course, there's going to be scams and rug pulls on every blockchain, but we don't talk about those. We try not to. Let's take a look at the validators, everybody. Validators, 50,770 validators. Look at this shiny globe in front of you here. Look at this wonderful globe. I should just keep this running because it looks so pleasing. It's very aesthetically pleasing, this globe. You can see all the validators worldwide. India, Japan, China, Australia. We've got tons in America. Got a guy up there in Alaska. Mexico. Looks like Brazil. Florida. Got some people down south in, what is that, Chile or I can't tell, Argentina perhaps. Spain, France, across the entire EU. Saudi Arabia, Egypt, South Africa. It's global. This globe shows you guys. New Zealand. This globe shows you that PulseChain is decentralized worldwide. Cannot be shut off. You want to shut PulseChain off? Go find these 50,000 validators. And by the way, guys, it is the third most decentralized blockchain after Bitcoin and Ethereum. It is the third most decentralized blockchain in terms of validators. And on top of that, it's only been around for 6 months. You've got coins like Avalanche over here, Solana. Solana can't even break 5,000 validators. All right, it's sad. It's pathetic. It's not really decentralized. And of those 5,000, you know, how many are basically run by 2 or 3 people? I don't know, half maybe. So good luck, you know, good luck shutting PulseChain off. If you like decentralization, you're probably going to like the third most decentralized blockchain. After 6 months, 50K validators. Imagine 6 more months. We could be competing with Ethereum one day. Sounds crazy. Sounds crazy. And this is without liquid staking. We don't have a Lido yet. Ethereum has liquid staking where you could basically pay other people to stake for you. Okay. And that's kind of centralized. That's kind of like joining a Bitcoin mining pool, right? A Bitcoin mining pool is when a bunch of people pool their miners together, but then that pool is all run by one company that kind of makes the decisions on behalf of all the miners in the pool that are delegating their coins to those miners. You've got a lot less of that in PulseChain for now. Now, one day, yeah, we'll probably have liquid staking, but not yet. So these are real, authentic, decentralized numbers here, okay? And these miners are earning almost 15% APR, so it's pretty good to be a PulseChain validator today. If you want to be a validator on PulseChain, you can make 15% APY today, passive. You just got to know how to run some command line scripts, okay? Go to validatorstore.com if you want to learn more. Validatorstore.com, okay? And the current price for one validator is 32 million Pulse, which is $2,000 today. Can you imagine if PulseChain does a 10x in price from here? It's going to cost $20,000 to be a validator. So maybe you want to become a validator while it's still affordable to do so. Because if you're waiting until a 10x from here to get your validator, get your 32 million Pulse, good luck paying $20,000. Now, is that still worth it? Yeah, probably. It's definitely still worth it if you're making 15% APY to me. You know, 20. I mean, maybe it's going to cost 10x as much, but if you're still making even 10% APY, 8% APY, relatively safely, all you got to do is keep your computer hardware up and running. Seems like a no-brainer. I got to get my validators back up and running. I just moved, so I got to get my validators back and going again. I might do the cloud service as well because I don't know how reliable my internet is. Let's take a look at the bridge statistics on PulseChain. $94 million bridged into PulseChain currently in stablecoins, Ethereum, HEX, and wrapped Bitcoin. There's also a lot more probably bridged in. Maybe 5 more million bridged in from other different coins with value. But it's a good amount. It's a good amount. We'd like to see more coming in. And again, that stablecoin, that Coast stablecoin, look down here. Look where my mouse is. You've only got $3 million of Coast stablecoin minted on PulseChain today. I predict that we're going to see this number overtake, you know, maybe USDT, maybe even USDC. We're pretty close already. We're at like a third of USDT, maybe a quarter. That's why I'm so excited about CST stablecoin, guys. Look, we're starting small because it's only been out for 2 months. It takes people a while to get used to a new thing, especially something where, you know, you're linking your bank account. But when you're minting stablecoins natively, number one, you don't have the bridge risk. Number two, you don't have the counterparty risk. Well, okay, you still have counterparty risk, but it's different counterparty risk than, let's say, Circle or Tether. You know, who do you trust more, Circle, Tether, or Stoic and the boys down at the Coast team? I'll tell you who I trust more because they're pro PulseChain. We can't predict what all these crazy companies out here, Tether. What if the government tells Circle, hey, shut off all that USDC on PulseChain. We don't like PulseChain anymore. That's why we need options, right? And we got more stablecoins coming. We got algorithmic stablecoins, liquid loans. We've got Power Cities version for PulseX. You can do a PulseX backed stablecoin or a PLS backed stablecoin. Algorithmic, forked off the Liquidity protocol, which survived a bear market, by the way. The Liquidity protocol survived a 90% dip in Ethereum. So just going to leave that out there. Let's also take a look at apphex.win/charts. Today we've got 126,000 HEX stakers. So we've cracked the 126,000 PulseChain HEX stakers. PHEX stakers. So we just cracked that new 1,000. We just cracked that new 1,000 metric. Oh, my screen just refreshed for a second there. Let's scroll down here. Let's scroll down to, what do we have? I wanted to see the T-share chart. I wanted to see the T-share. I'm going to refresh this page again because something's not right here. Something's not right. All right, we've got the page refreshed. Let's see if we can take a look at the share rate. Everybody check out the share rate over here. The T-share rate, for people that don't know, I want to show you guys. The T-share rate's going to go up about 10% by the end of December. So on November 22nd, it's going to jump from 30,000 to 32,000 HEX per T-share. Meaning if you're going to stake, you're probably going to want to get some stakes in now in HEX before the end of December, all right? Because then again, on it looks like the 18th of December, we're ratcheting up again to 34,000, which means in 30 more days' time, 32 more days' time, we're going to have jumped over 10% in the T-share rate. The T-share rate right now is 30K. It's going to go up to 34K by the end of December. Just going to warn you guys right now, guys. Get your stakes in. If you're going to stake your HEX long-term holders are the real winners in HEX. If you're going to do that, get them in now. It's your choice, but you probably want to get them in now before that share rate goes up. Let's check out the PulseChain charts. Why I like apphex.win/chain is because it tells you the daily active users, which are going up. Going up again, guys. Going up. We're at 14,000 daily active users today. We tapped 17,000 a month ago. We're hovering around anywhere between 13 to 15,000 daily active users. Believe it or not, it might not sound like a lot, but this is a very important metric. And this metric is currently higher than the daily active wallets on Cardano, on Ripple. Like, it's higher than a lot of blockchains that have been around for many, many years. And PulseChain is brand new, first cycle coin. You need to get bullish about this. Like, people don't talk about the daily active wallets, but we should not be this high with this low of a price. We should not have 14,000 daily active wallets at the bottom of a bear market, outpacing other popular blockchains like Avalanche and Solana with on-chain metrics that can't be faked. We should not have a price this low with this many users. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. I mean, that's fundamental data for you. When people talk about fundamentals, go look at the on-chain data. You can't lie about that. All right. What are we talking about? What are T-shares? Okay, Brandon, I don't know if that's maybe you've been around for a while, but if you're brand new to HEX, here's how T-shares basically work, okay? When you stake your HEX, what you're effectively doing is you're burning your HEX and you're buying T-shares. You're minting new T-shares into existence. T-share just stands for 1 trillion shares. So the more shares that you have in HEX, the higher yields you get in your HEX stake. So it's all about how many shares you can buy with your HEX. And the price of shares in HEX terms only goes up slowly, little by little every day. So yes, the US dollar price of T-shares fluctuates along with the US dollar price of HEX, but shares become more scarce every day. And that's because, like I said earlier, when you stake your HEX is burned, and in return you get T-shares. When your stake is due, you get to burn those T-shares and mint new HEX back into existence. And that new HEX that you mint is all of your principal, assuming that you spent, you served the full amount of days that you said you were going to do. You mint all of your principal plus all of the yield in the form of more HEX that your T-shares generated for you. And your T-shares are essentially like your money printers, your HEX money printers, okay? So in HEX, when you buy T-shares, it's like you get to be the Fed. All the inflation goes to the T-share holders. All the inflation gets divvied up to the T-share holders proportional to how much of the shares that you have in the system. So if you own 1% of all the shares, you're going to get 1% of all the inflation, right? So that's kind of a simplified way to put it. What ends up happening is that shares become the deflationary asset. Well, where HEX is inflationary, right? Now, inflationary is not bad, but it's a stable inflation rate at 3.69% APY. Effectively, this ends up being about 1.8%. There's about a 1.8% inflation rate per year because not everyone's stake comes out on the same day on January 31st, right? So because everyone's stakes are staggered, that 3.69% inflation rate ends up being about 1.8%, 1.9% per year, pretty much in line with, under that 2% inflation level that the Fed likes to use, right? Now, so inflation's not bad, right? Itself, in and of itself, inflation itself is not bad. It's out of control inflation by unelected bureaucrats. That's the bad thing. But because inflation has a bad name to it, right? Because a lot of people cringe at inflation because they assume that inflation is just bad. Well, the T-shares themselves are actually deflationary. The T-shares are what is scarce and what gets more and more scarce every day. So it will never be a better time to stake HEX in terms of the HEX yield that you can get in the future than today. Price can do whatever. Price can go up a whole bunch. Price can go down a whole bunch. But it is a race for the T-shares, essentially. If you believe that HEX will be higher in the future, in 5-10 years, if you think that HEX is going to be a higher price than it is today, well, you're never going to get a better yield. You're never going to get a better APR. And the T-shares are never going to be more affordable in HEX terms than today. How much INC token gets burned? I don't know. INC token is, I did not know that INC token was getting burned. What are we talking about here? Are they burning INC token? Is anybody, I'm not sure about that, guys. I think PulseX is getting burned, but I don't know about INC, guys. INC, see, what the thing about the INC supply is that it inflated from zero, right? So it's kind of the only, if like fair distribution is your narrative meme that you fall for, INC had a fair distribution because there's no pre-sale, there's no one entity controlling a large number of the coins, and the only way to mint INC is to be a liquidity provider. And currently there's only 16 million total INC coins. There's only 16 million coins that have ever been created. So they're hard to get because they require you to take risk. They require you to be a liquidity provider and add value to the PulseX network in order to mint an INC coin. Now, when you're talking about burned, I don't know. There might be a different protocol that burns INC, but PulseX is the one that gets burned. Okay, PulseX is the buy and burn token. So when you buy PulseX, it's like you're buying into a share of the exchange itself. Okay, so when you own PulseX, you're directly betting on the success of the PulseX trading platform by buying PLSX. And that's because the more volume that's done on the exchange, the more of those trading fees is being routed to the buy and burn function. So there's a buy and burn function, a trustless smart contract, decentralized, okay? Not an individual, but there's a block of code that's essentially saying of all the trading fees of the day, take 0.06% of all the trading fees and use those trading fees that were collected, use them to buy up the price of PulseX and burn those tokens out of existence. So you're buying the price up and you're reducing the supply down. Okay, and that's the best possible thing that you can do for the price. So PLSX with the buy and burn function is essentially a buyer of last resort. Sami calls it a drunken Michael Saylor. I love that. Drunken Michael Saylor. A big buyer Barry, someone that will always buy because it's a piece of code that buys using the trading fees collected from the platform. Uniswap could have done this, but instead they decided to layer on a 0.15% fee outside of the fee switch and just have that all go directly into their pockets directly. So cool, guys. You could have used that fee switch, but instead PulseX had to come in and take that idea and run with it. So that's why PulseX is cool. We talked about validators, bridge, gas fees. Let's see. Got a whole bunch of apps you could use on gopulse.com. Guys, if anybody's not familiar, you need to bookmark gopulse.com. Gopulse.com is going to be the place to go, the one-stop shop for all things PulseChain. Shows you the prices, shows you all the statistics and everything. Let's go back to regular screen. Got 266 live viewers, guys. Smash the subscribe, like it if you want to. Tickle that like button. Tickle that like button like you mean it. RH Max, what's up, dude? 114K INC burned already. Cool. Where is it being burned? Oh, TYRH is burning it. Okay, so you've got like this, what's it called? It's kind of like a reflection token, I guess, that's burning INC token. So 114,000 INC has been burned, I guess, already. What's 114K out of, let's do the calculations really quick. 114 over 16 million. 16 million. That is almost 1%. 0.7% of the total INC supply has been burned. Interesting. Interesting fact there, Dollars Hut. Interesting fact. It's my wife Pragya's birthday. Happy birthday, Pragya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Pragya. Your husband, Dollar Hut. It seems like a cool dude. All right. All the INC was burned. Okay. I got you guys. I got you. By TYRH. I got you. Price prediction for 2024 after April. After April in 2024 for RH tokens, I don't know, guys. Like, again, here's what you could do with price predictions, right? You could set a range so that you're less wrong, because everyone's going to be wrong. No one's going to guess the exact top. I think it's possible for PHEX to go anywhere from 50 cents to $2. I think it's possible for PulseChain to go anywhere from half a penny to 5 pennies. And for PLSX, let's just take the PulseChain prediction and we'll just divide that by 2. So for PulseX, I think it'd be anywhere from 0.2 of a penny at the very, maybe at the lowest, to 2 cents at the highest. Now, again, this is assuming we don't have like a black swan, because that could always happen. By the very definition, black swans are unpredictable. But if that happened, I would just be buying more, guys. I'm just going to say that right now. I would just be buying more. I don't think a black swan would last very long. There's a manufactured crisis, and it's going to be a psyop if there is one. Unless it's like a solar flare or a meteor hits the Earth. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But I think we just made it past the torrid meteor stream. The peak of the torrid meteor stream was on November 6th. So, yeah, I'm looking out my window right now. I don't see any meteors today, but you never know, boys. You never know. Hey, Alice the Man says, did you talk about the petition yet? What's the signature count at? Thank you for the tip, Alice the Man. Thank you for the tip. Really appreciate that. So did I talk about the petition yet? What is the signature count at? Today we are at, let me take a look. It's actually a really good question. I think it was 16,000. PulsePetition.org. And guys, we're going to get this submitted after November 28th. So that's all we can do. It's within our control. 16,322 signatures. Guys, that is more than enough. I think we're doing great. I think we're doing great right here. Check it out on the screen right now. Yeah, thank you for the tip, Ali's the Man. Yeah, if you look at the signature place right here, the signatures are at 16,000. Man, I thought we'd be lucky to get 1,000. We blew past 10,000 maybe a week ago. Now we're at 16,000. So maybe let's go for 20. Let's go for 20,000, I guess. Why not, right? Why not? PulsePetition.org. And then that's going to get submitted to the courts to be used, to be given to the judge to read, to give our perspective on things. To give our perspective on things and show everybody that we are not victims of Richard Hart, that we sacrificed for freedom of speech, and that blockchain technology is defended, protected by the First Amendment, which is also what Vivek Ramaswamy said, right? Here's why I like Vivek. I saw a clip the other day, today. Saw a clip a couple hours ago. Let me tell you guys what he said. Vivek Ramaswamy has got a 3-step approach to digital asset policymaking. 1, developers cannot be prosecuted for code. I agree. It's kind of like the Tornado Cash thing. He used that as an example. Developers writing code is free speech, and that's protected under the First Amendment. 2, our good friend Vivek says that his policy would allegedly, now when he gets into office, you know, who knows? Who knows what's actually going to happen? But this he would prohibit any federal agency from creating a rule that impairs self-hosted wallets. I mean, that's just knowing a private key, right? So he basically would try to keep the federal agencies from meddling with people's private keys, which I support. And then he's also trying to say that it looks like projects should have the freedom from regulatory overreach. So it looks like he would probably reel back the overreach of the SEC and the reckless enforcement actions, and he would essentially use his executive power, legislation to write laws that are probably very clear, whereas, you know, the current ones are not. So is Vivek our guy? Could be. I hate to talk like that about any politician. I hate to get political. Let's see. You never see a meteor until it hits, and then it's too late. It's good advice, Max. It's good advice. Good advice, Max. That's the thing about meteors, you know? You never see them until it's too late. It sucks. I really hope we don't get hit by a meteor. No meteors here in the Vegas skies. That's good to know, Timothy. Good to know. Wild SJ says November 28th is going to be a most excellent day. Yeah, look, a lot of people are talking about November 28th like it's going to be some price thing. I think you guys need to relax, man. People overinflate. People don't understand like legal. And I'm not saying I do understand them, okay? But what I'm predicting is that November 28th is probably going to be a non-event for the price. Why? In all likelihood, I don't even know if Richard's been served legally, but the court proceedings are going to kick off on the 28th, and they take a long time. You don't get clarity, and no one's going to get the settlement or the clarity that they want, especially on the very first day of court proceedings. So everyone lingering and hoping and praying that somehow this one day is going to make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. It's not, okay? It's just the official beginning of the court proceedings. Now, I don't even know if Richard's going to show up. I don't even know if he's legally obliged to show up because I don't even know if he's been served. And if he has, maybe his lawyer would do a motion to dismiss, and then it would, be the ball. The ball is back in the judge's court again. So a lot of people get so wound up about this one day as if it's going to provide any more clarity, and it's not. Okay, it's just not. Now, that is probably the date where we can officially send in the amicus brief. But for people trying to trade it and thinking that this is going to be a price dump or a price pump, it's probably going to be a non-event. So let's just relax and do what we can, okay? Vivek ain't a politicians. He doesn't act like a politician. I like that he's calling out both sides. I saw him on CNN the other day talking about, stop trying to get me to comment about what Trump said. Like, he basically he called CNN's bullshit so hard. Hey, Stoic. Thank you for the $50 tip, man. Says, keep up the great work. Appreciate the info. Stoic, guys. This man is a hero right now. Doing his best over at the Coast team. And he's the one working on the Fiat on-ramp. I really appreciate the tip, bro. And don't you worry, I'll be making some tutorial videos once that feature gets updated. Once people are able to mint PLS, PulseX, and HEX directly on the platform. It's a game changer for PulseChain, guys. It's game over. Wild SJ says, me too, Max. He robbed me of being purposeless. Oh, is that? Yeah, Richard scammed me of my aimlessness in life. Yeah, it is nice to have a purpose, right? Higher power. Victim of a better life. Richard RH Max says, I'm a victim of a better life and version of myself due to RH. Where do I complain? Lol. Twitter, bro. Don't you realize Twitter is where you complain about everything? Take your complaints to Twitter, where they will be lost in the abyss. They will echo in the void. We might see a dump on November by the weekends. I don't care, man. I don't think we will. I don't think we will, because you're not going to see a... Look, people are getting so hung up on this November 28th date, and they're just going to be disappointed, guys. What do you think is going to happen? You think cases are open and shut in one day? No, that's not how courts work, guys. It takes a long time. It takes a long time. So if you're waiting for November 28th to sell your bags for whatever dumb reason, just dump it. Just dump it now, because you're not going to, whatever you're looking for, you're not going to get. What are you looking for? Richard Hart settles in one day? It doesn't work like that, guys. And look, I'm not saying I'm an expert on the legal proceedings, but I know enough to tell you that you're not going to get clarity and certainty. And everybody wants it so bad. But look, let's just think about all the things that we have to look forward to on the timeline. SEC potentially being restructured. There is a reasonable probability that Gary Gensler gets fired because Tom Emmer and the GOP majority, the GOP people in the Congress, basically, they're pushing a bill through the House right now to try to stop funding to the SEC, to say, hey, SEC, you cannot use your funding on any more undue enforcement actions, any of this guilty until proven innocent crap. You need to stop that and stop using taxpayer money on that. And also they're trying to pass a bill that would restructure the SEC and essentially get Gary Gensler fired. And so there's also an election happening next year. And it's also almost 2024. So all these things combined, along with the fact that Richard lives in a different country. Has he been served? I don't know. Does he have a ton of lawyers? Probably. Does he have a ton of money? Yes. Like, do court cases get open and shut overnight? No. Do settlements often happen and then people go about their day? Yes. Can you shut PulseChain off? No. Can they stop you from buying PulseChain, HEX, PulseX? No. Let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about the worst case scenario. And let's just admit that we just don't know. So anybody trying to day trade this event is all I'm saying is it's a fool's game. Hey, thank you for the tip though, Coast. Thank you for the tip. Hey, we're at 1 hour. Oh crap. Hope I'm not lagging, you guys. Hope I'm not lagging. Let's see. Richard Hart will win. Let's hope so. Stex Pulse. Timothy says Mr. V is a conservative billionaire. Who's Mr. V? Vaynerchuk? Who are we talking about? Wild SJ says I get extra wound up. Yeah, I get extra wound up about that day. yeah. People that don't know, the 28th is a big day, not because of Richard's court case, but because it's a Wild SJ's birthday. Sagittarius season, baby. Everybody should be celebrating SJ's birthday. That's a much more healthy alternative to worrying about stuff you can't control in the courts. Good point, SJ. It's funny. Very serendipitous, right? Very serendipitous. Yeah, we'll be partying. Don't you worry. We will celebrate for SJ's birthday, not for court case. Einar says, coffee is Hedron the place to cash out for us when the bull market is here for the 3 golden boys. Well, look, guys. Yeah, Hedron is a great option to mint for free if you're a HEX staker already. So Hedron is something you could sell instead of having to sell HEX. You know, it's also something you could use to buy more. You can buy more HEX on the open market, on the auction market. You can buy wrapped HEX stakes using Hedron on the auction market if you want to buy those at a discount. So there's a couple things you could do with Hedron, right? You could sell it, use it as instant liquidity, or you could even buy more HEX stakes with it at a discount on the auction market. So yeah, that's an option for sure, Einar. Especially because you get it for free, you know. Crypto Tucker says Coinbase sucks. Still got my money there. Unbelievable. It's been over a week. Yeah, you know, I've been hearing that some of the mainstream exchanges have been having liquidity issues and been extra slow lately. Now, I don't know if that has to do with Operation Choke Point 2.0, but seems like it could be. You know, they're clamping down. They're trying to secure all the crypto on and off ramps, all the choke points, and they're trying to watch everybody and spy on everybody. So, you know, Coinbase will take a week or more. I've been hearing about delays. Sorry that happened, Crypto Trucker. But, you know, good thing GainPulseChain.com exists. D'Artagnan says, smash the like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. That's right, guys. I don't tell people to hit the bell often, but hit the bell so you know when I'm going live. Follow me on Twitter, CryptoCoffee369 for latest DeFi news. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Judge Judy would have it wrapped up in an hour. Yeah, right. Everyone thinks it's like Judge Judy over here. Man, that's all the education that we have about courts. It's Judge Judy. Let's see. Johnny Chaos says one suit gets dropped, another can be spawned. That's right. It's not worth being concerned. Large companies have over 30 open cases on a monthly balance. Yeah, dude. People, I mean, lawsuits are kind of the cost of doing business in America, right? We're a very lawsuit happy country. So whether that's the SEC suing an individual or whether that's individuals suing individuals, I mean, these are all just entities suing other entities. It's a regulatory agency. It's not actually a branch of the government. Let's see. Mr. V equals Vivek. Okay. I see what you mean. I'm sorry. Einar says, I'm sorry. I meant like, what is the best place to cash out? Oh, the best place to cash out. Yeah, I mean, I like to end my stakes on icosa.pro, app.icosa.pro. But when you want to actually cash out into dollars, to me, it's looking like, I mean, honestly, I would go out the way I came in. I would go out through like Kraken, or I'd go out through a centralized exchange. I would sell for stable coins. I would transfer the stable coins back to a platform, and I would, convert those stables back into money in my bank account. But I think I'm going to probably end up using 0x Coast once it gets more popular, in 6 months, 12 months. I don't know, whenever I take profit, right? Like when I'm taking profit, I would hope that GainPulseChain.com is in a place where, I can offload a reasonable amount, and that'd be more efficient. It would be more, I don't know, guys. I know it requires trust on every exchange, but I honestly do. I want to trust the team at Coast. I want to trust them more than I want to trust Gemini and the Winklevoss twins, right? But it's good to have different off-ramp options as well. So you can make several different accounts. Make a Gemini, make a Kraken, make a Crypto.com account, and then you can cash out. If you ever want to sell some HEX, Pulse, or PulseX, you can cash out through potentially many different options there. Let's see. Transaction fees are amazing on PulseX. Yeah, they're amazing. I know they are. The only way to cash out is by trading it in for a stable coin, right? Yeah, that's correct right now. Or you could trade it for Ethereum. You could send the Ethereum back to the exchange, and then you could sell the Ethereum on the exchange. That might be kind of a better way, actually. Selling it for Ethereum and then selling the Ethereum on the exchange. Because then if you want to write off on your taxes, you could say, what was your entry point for ETH? And what was your exit point for ETH, to make it more easy for the accounting, so you don't have to look, I'm not a tax advisor, but it might be easier to enter through Ethereum and exit through Ethereum by, buying the ETH on a centralized exchange, selling the ETH on a centralized exchange. But also, if you have an account on GainPulseChain.com, as long as you have a place to point to tell the IRS, look, here's where I got in, here's where I got out. And the simpler you can make it for them, the better too. And if you got proof on whatever exchange you have that you bought at this price, you sold at this price, it might be easier than having to do all the tracking of on-chain blockchain data. It's easier if you can just have that all logged on a centralized exchange, if you know what I mean. But get a tax advisor to advise you on that one. Revolut is really good to cash out. Cool. Waste Willem says Revolut is really good. I don't think we have that here in the States, but Revolut, I've heard it's awesome. And yeah, you can do that on GainPulseChain.com as well. Bojan says, greetings from Slovenia. Is it Bojan? What's up, Bojan? SJ says, none of us are LG Fink. That is the beauty. What are we talking about? Am I paid by RH? Absolutely not. I have never been paid by Richard in my life. None of us are. People find that so hard to believe that none of the influencers in the HEX PulseChain ecosystem are ever paid by Richard Hart. We pay ourselves. I've got my own business, got a YouTube channel, and I pay myself with good investing decisions as well. Call me crazy, right? Imagine an influencer that's not sponsored by anybody. Imagine an influencer that's actually made it in crypto and actually wants to give back to the community. Tell people how to do crypto the right way, not your keys, not your coins. It blows people's minds because it's so par for the course to have scam influencers out there that are paid off by Bybit, or they were all paid off by FTX. They all shilled you to the meat grinder. They told you HEX was a scam. They told you PulseChain was a scam, and they were literally paid by FTX. Bankless, paid by FTX. Altcoin Daily, paid by FTX. And they shovel you there to go day trade and lose all your money anyway. And on top of that, FTX blows up. Celsius blows up. And all the influencers, that's how they were making their money. And us PulseChain HEX people, everyone just assumes we're getting paid by Richard. It couldn't be farther from the truth. I don't even talk to Richard, okay? I'm sure some of these people out here wish they were getting paid. I'm sure they wish they were getting paid by Richard. But look, everyone I know, including myself, never, ever, ever paid to promote this. Never. I like it. Go figure. Why is it so hard for people to believe that we talk about things because we actually like it? Because we think they're superior products. That's so crazy to people because people are so used to being scammed all day. I think that's why. I think people are just used to people lying to them and being scammed. It's kind of sad, actually. But yeah, we're essentially fans of a sports team over here. We just, we're rooting for the best team though, in my opinion. Einar says, am I financially free through crypto alone yet, Coffee? Yes, I am. Yes, I am, Einar. That's all I'll say about that. 3Fig Link says, how do you predict the PulseChain pump will look like this bull market? You think we're due for a giga pump soon? Look, at the risk of sounding too bullish, I think we're due for a pump. Now, how hard it's going to pump, I don't know. There are diminishing returns every cycle. You do have to keep an eye on that 80K. I am in line with the 80K Bitcoin target of, okay, maybe things are going to get a little frothy after that. Anything we get after 80K Bitcoin is a gift. So what's going to be the price of PulseChain at that time? Probably higher than it is today, but nothing is a guarantee. It's just a matter of how high it ends up going. I don't know if it's going to be a gigapump or a mega pump or just, a milli pump. It's probably going to be a pump. CC says, or Fubar says, CC, thank you for all that you do. Is it possible that you can make a video on getting PulseX, Pulse, and PHEX into a cold wallet, i.e. getting tokens that are in MetaMask already into a Ledger or Trezor? Yeah, I mean, you can go watch their videos on ledger.com. I've got, video tutorials in my course as well. It's kind of hard for me to make a video about setting up a brand new Ledger because I'd have to buy a Ledger and film myself setting it up and everything. And you guys can follow the instruction. It's kind of a hard video to shoot because I essentially have to waste a Ledger. And the setup process is me clicking buttons, right? You have to confirm your private seed words on your Ledger, and it's really boring, right? And there's already so many tutorials that Ledger has made. So if you just follow, you go to Ledger the company, or go to Ledger the company, go to their YouTube channel, you can find a lot of ways to connect your Ledger to MetaMask through that. I'm just gonna say I would. Fubar, thank you for the kind words. I would make that video, but I think that the companies like Ledger and Trezor themselves, I think they've got that covered better, and they do a better job of those tutorials than I could do, if that makes sense. 3Fig Link says, as long as it's more than 20x, I think 20x is conservative, right? I can easily see PulseChain being 20x higher than it is today. Nothing is guaranteed, though. That's why we got to talk about it. That's why we got to spread the word. We got to do onboarding and adoption and user experience. We got people out here building stuff, enhancing the user experience, talking, marketing, spreading adoption about real DeFi, real crypto, real freedom of speech. And that's the only way the prices of all this stuff grow, is if people talk about it. Oh my God, Ponzi scheme. Well, guess what? If nobody else bought Bitcoin, wouldn't it collapse too? Yes, it would. Yes, it would, imaginary hater. I like to talk to imaginary haters in my head. But a lot of people are like, oh, well, you just require a greater fool theory, greater fool theory. Oh yeah, bro? What happens if nobody buys Bitcoin? What happens if everyone stops buying houses? What happens if everyone stops buying Tesla? If everyone decides to dump it and nobody decides to buy it? Goes down. The price goes down. Scary. So yeah, we got to make sure people know about it so that when bull sentiment comes back, they know that there are alternative options, cheaper, faster, better, safer options from a technical point of view. Let's see. Oh yeah, so you just need to have the Ethereum app on your Ledger. Wost is right. If you have the Ethereum app on your Ledger, it works for any EVM blockchain. So it'll work for PulseChain too. It'll work for, probably a whole bunch of other chains. Probably like Avalanche and stuff like that, Phantom. But you just need the Ethereum app on your Ledger. All right, do I think we can 200x? I think we can. It's definitely possible to 200x. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. All right, boys and girls, thank you all so much for coming. I have to go to El Baño. So make sure you like and subscribe. All 278 of you listening, watching from wherever you are. Enjoy your mad gains, everybody. Enjoy your mad gains. Tell the world about real crypto. Tell the world about real DeFi. Tell the world about freedom of speech and defend your rights. Defend your rights. Blockchain is freedom of speech. It's technology that is just like writing, just like speaking, and they can't shut it off. So I wish you all the maddest of gains.